It is now my honor to present to you the President of the University of St. Thomas, Father Dennis Deese. He will introduce the commencement speaker, Mr. Kojo Ben Taylor, and present him with an honorary degree.
Thank you, Dr. Rochon. As you mentioned, it is my pleasure to introduce today Mr. Kojo Ben Taylor, and at this point I would ask that Mr. Taylor please come forward. Born in 1954 in Cape Coast, Ghana, you grew up in poverty and immigrated to the United States in 1977 to pursue a simple goal, to get a good job and to earn some money. Quote, "I stepped off the plane and felt like a kid in a candy store," you once told Minnesota Business and Opportunities magazine about your arrival in New York. You went on to say, "I had a lot of images about America. I thought you could actually pick up dollars in the middle of the street." End of quote. You learned early that it wasn't quite that easy. You worked as a shipping and receiving clerk before moving to Minnesota in 1979 at the suggestion of a friend, holding a number of sales jobs before becoming advertising sales manager for the Twin Cities Reader, a weekly newspaper. You purchased a Minneapolis franchise of Equitrain, an Atlanta-based computer training company. And in 1989, even though you later admitted, "I didn't know anything about computers," being a quick study, you established Equitrain franchises in 15 cities and later formed the Pelican Group, which also provided management consulting and financial services before selling it. As co-founder of Taylor & Board in Minneapolis, you provide interim executives and finance professionals to companies. Ellis Taylor, a company you own with your wife, places lawyers and paralegals with law firms and corporations. You serve on several boards, including the Metropolitan Economic Development Association, Minnesota Business Journal, the YMCA of Minneapolis, and Elam International Academy, a new charter school. Your business philosophy emphasizes people, systems, goals, values, culture, and organizational design as fundamental principles that will lead to success. And you believe problems occur when something is out of alignment. If you just analyze it, you'll find the problem and fix it, you say. Like a mechanic does with your car, business is similar. Take the time to ask, what is this a symptom of? Find the root cause and fix it. The symptom will disappear. During a 2005 trip to Ghana with two business associates, one of them became ill and needed hospitalization and medication. You learned firsthand about the lack of basic health services in Ghana, along with the devastation of diseases such as malaria, measles, tuberculosis, pneumonia, and HIV/AIDS. As a result of that experience, you vowed to improve the public health system in sub-Saharan Africa and founded MicroClinic. MicroClinic will open 5 medical clinics in Ghana next month and 3 clinics in Uganda in August. Corporate sponsors provide funds to build and equip clinics, and you recruit, train, license, and support community health nurses who will own and operate the clinics as franchisees. People will be able to afford health care through Ghana's national health insurance and an insurance program that you are establishing in Uganda. Long-term plans call for 400 clinics in Ghana and 600 in Uganda. Success has not left you spoiled or complacent, but instead has motivated you to give back to your homeland and to provide opportunities for those who are less fortunate. You are their hero, and we take pride today in saluting you as an inspiration to all of our graduate. Kojo Ben Taylor. Congratulations, Ben. We're proud to be able to do this for you.
Thank you. What a glowing introduction. Wasn't that great? For a while there, I was wondering who he was talking about. I really can't wait to hear what I'm going to say. Today, I want to tell you some stories and lessons from my life. I married my high school sweetheart, Teresa Taylor. So for those of you who are still dating some of your classmates, there's hope. Part of the treasures of life is to be able to invest a piece of our lives into the lives of other people. Today, you have given me that opportunity to invest a piece of my life into your lives, and I thank you for it. I feel honored to be here with you today. When I was 16 years old in Ghana, I had a pen pal in America. She lived in Indiana. On her 16th birthday, she took a photograph of a car she had bought on her birthday and sent it to me in Ghana. I was surprised, to say the least, because to put things in proper perspective for you, my father and mother grew up and died without ever owning a car, much less learning how to drive one. And so when a 16-year-old wrote to me and said she's bought a car on her 16th birthday and she was driving it, I was blown away. I thought to myself, if there is a country where a 16-year-old can own a car, I'm going there. And in 1977, I did. I landed in New York City, coming from Ghana, a community where everyone knows you, to a city of 9 million people. I felt very lonely. My first job working alone was working in a warehouse in New York as a warehouse manager. I remember applying for a job. I had obtained 2 years equivalent of college education in Ghana before coming here. And so I thought I had earned the right to be able to apply for a warehouse manager position that was advertised in the newspaper. When I showed up, the owner of the company showed me the warehouse, about 10,000 square feet, full of boxes about 55 pounds each. After showing me around, he said, "You have the job." And I asked, "Where are the people I'll be managing?" He said, "You'll be managing the warehouse. You see these boxes? They're all yours. Trucks will come in loaded with 50-pound boxes. You take them out. At the end of the day, there will be empty trucks that are sitting on the dock that will come in back into the dock. You load them up. There are 5 bathrooms here. It's your responsibility to make sure that they smell good and keep them clean." "So what am I managing?" I asked again. He said, "A warehouse." So my first lesson, I understood the meaning of warehouse manager. I remember being given the broom and shown the warehouse and the bathrooms. My job was to keep him tidy, and so I did. I worked at night and was happy to do it. 2.5 years later, I was ready to move from New York to Minneapolis, Minnesota. A friend of mine was living here. From high school in Ghana, he sold me on the state. He said, very nice people. Gets a little bit cold. But he went on to say, you can handle it. I said, how cold? He said, well, let me put it to you this way. When you spit, it freezes before it hits the ground. I thought to myself, that couldn't possibly be true. You just don't want me to come. I'm coming anyway. And then I got here and realized he was really telling the truth. Before I left New York, I gave my resignation notice to the owner of the company, Mr. P.J. Motorano, the trucking company it was. When I gave my notice, he was quiet. He simply shook my hand. End of conversation. He came back to work the following day and handed me an envelope. In the envelope was $1,500, 15 $100 bills. I asked him why he gave me the envelope. He says, that's the least I can do for your hard work and dedication. Let me tell you why. Across from the warehouse were some townhouses. His primary residence was in New Jersey. Unbeknownst to me, across from that warehouse, one of the townhouses overlooking the warehouse was his. He said, at night, before I go home, this is where I relax and I watch you. I see you working. I see you working. You don't play. You don't quit. He said, I even see you when you use the broom to pretend to be like Elvis Presley. You never know who is watching or when. So when you work, work. Robert Schumann, a composer and musician who brought harmony to the lives of others through his music and sound, noted, when you play, play as though a master is listening. After working several years in Minneapolis, I landed at a job at the Twin Cities at City Pages. I think they still publish it. After working there for a while as a marketing representative, I applied for a marketing representative for a publication called City Business, and I think they still publish it today. After 2 hours of interview, the manager who was interviewing me, he's asked me to keep his name private, so I will respect that. Who was interviewing after 2.5 hours gave me a sound advice. He said, Mr. Taylor, this is the Midwest. You have a heavy foreign accent, and you are black. You will have difficulty selling advertising to the business executives in this environment. I suggest you look for an accounting job or an office administrative position. I didn't know how to react to that. Good advice. I didn't get a job. I later approached Mark Hopp, the owner of the company with 3 publications. We talked. 15 minutes into the conversation, he said, you are hired. 2 years later, I became a very successful marketing rep within the company, was promoted to become the corporate sales trainer, training salespeople. Training salespeople on the principles of making an effective sales presentation. I even created a special supplement called the Spring Parade of Homes magazine, which is still published today. Yet, this is still the Midwest. I still have my foreign accent, and the last I checked, I was still black. Be wary of those who give you unsolicited advice, because if you don't take care, they will steal away your dreams. In the early days when we started our business, we needed money. After approaching 21 different banks, they all said no. All of a sudden, the advice of Midwest, accent, black started creeping through my head. I mustered the courage to try one more bank. Bank number 22, Richfield Bank and Trust used to be called. The manager said, "I give you a loan. I'll take a chance on you." Here's my question. How many in this auditorium, having been rejected by 21 banks, will keep persisting? Calvin Coolidge said, "Persistence alone is omnipotent." Education will not. The world are full of educated derelicts. Talent will not. Unrewarded talent is almost a proverb. Persistence will get you there. Your time as students are limited. So don't waste trying to living somebody else's life. Refuse to accept mediocrity. Don't let others' opinion of you define you. Strive for greatness. Greatness is measured by the ability to think big and do big. You must be obsessed by a worthy goal. We are all born with a talent and a responsibility to manifest what has been planted on our hearts. You see, what has been planted on your heart, nobody can manifest it for you. Only you, in your own unique way, can only do that to the benefit of the world. How do you know what has been planted on your heart? One might ask. You ask. Hey, the good old Bible teaches us a lesson, doesn't it? It says, ask. A-S-K. Ask and it shall be. Seek and you shall. Knock and the door shall be. A-S-K. Ask. Shakespeare eloquently put it this way: go to your belly, knock there, and ask your heart what it doth know. When you do decide to go for your dreams, you'll be surprised in many ways. You might even be disappointed by people you really trust. Hey, you might even succeed in a big way. You might make millions and lose it all. You might suffer the loss of a sibling, but persist you must. Henry Thoreau, the American author and philosopher, said, if one advances confidently towards the direction of your dream and endeavor to live the life which you have imagined, you will meet with success unexpected in common hours. Nelson Mandela, in his presidential acceptance speech, said, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant? Who am I to be gorgeous? Who am I to be talented? Who am I to be fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? After all, you are a child of God. You're trying to play small doesn't serve the world. there's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine. We are all born to manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As an African, and a proud one, I'd like to leave you with a story that has always stuck with me. There were two boys living in a village in Africa. In that same village is an old man who always seemed to have answers to all the questions people bring to him. Teenagers as they are, they wanted to outsmart this old wise man. So they went to the bush and got themselves a bird. A bird, small one. They brought the bird to the old man and asked a simple question. Old man, is this bird dead or alive? Wise as he is, wise as he was, looked at the kids and said, young man, if I say the bird is dead, all you have to do is open up the palm of your hand and let the bird fly away. If on the other hand, if I say the bird is alive, all you do is to crush it, and the bird is dead. Young man, as he said, the future of the bird is in your hands. Students, graduate of 2007. We can accelerate time. Students of 2008, your future. I want to spend more time here. I'm enjoying this process. But I know you want to go. It's hot. Student of 2007, your future are in your hands. Make something remarkable of it. God bless you.